What's good, people? Happy Sunday. We will be watching Newcastle United versus Bournemouth FC, the game that nobody gives a fuck about. 13 seconds. How are we doing? Thought the last one went pretty well on Champions League night. So, yeah, we're going to make this a regular thing. Like I said, I'm watching the game anyway. So might as well hang out with some of the boys and enjoy the game. This is not a fixture that tends to go very well for Newcastle. In fact, we've never beaten them under Eddie Howe. So, my expectations are not exactly at their highest. However, I like the team we've put out. Good to see some of the new boys getting a go. I'm not too keen on the formation, but it seems to be what Howe is doing when we have away games. So we'll see how it goes. Sorry, 1 second. How's it going, Westy? Yeah, got a bit of a busy day today, so I might go on again later. We'll see how things go. But I figured, given that this was a Sunday, without any UFC in it, thought good a time as any to try something a little bit new. So I hope you're well, bro. I love how you treat it so seriously, like it's your first morning. Well, not your first morning shift of me, but one of the very few morning shifts you've had with me. So shout out to you, bro. It could be a case of, given the time of day that it is, we have pretty much nobody turning up, which I'm very comfortable with. Like I said, I'm going to watch the game anyway. And yeah, sometimes it's nice to try some new things out. See if a new time brings in different people. See how it goes. Like I said, I'm not the most optimistic about this game. I know people don't really consider Bournemouth to be a powerhouse, but they beat the absolute shit out of us every time we played them. So hopefully the oh, I just ate a piping hot bowl of chili and got a Bournemouth. Oh man. That's going to be an embarrassing clip for me later on, because like I said, they're a team we tend to not do very well against, certainly during the Eddie Howe era. Obviously, he was their former manager, and he seems to like giving them a nice little gift every time we played him. I think the best he's ever done against them is a draw. I would take that today, 100%. It's an experimental lineup. It's a formation that we seem to be fucking around with. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'm not one of those delusional fans who comes on every time and goes, "It's going to be a win today, boys." When I do feel confident, I will say so. Today is not one of those days. I will happily walk out of here with a draw. I am a Newcastle and Mr. C, and it's been a mostly painful and lonely life. I don't know any in real life Newcastle fans. I get made fun of by pretty much everyone. I didn't grow up in Newcastle. I chose this team, and I've had very limited success in doing so. But it's part of the journey. It's part of my life. We used to be perennial losers. We finally won a cup last year. Some would call it a Tin Pot Cup. I personally don't. Bigger than the World Cup to me. And I'm a very proud Newcastle fan these days. Is Newcastle Brown a real English beer or just a clever advertising like Foster's fake Australian beer? It's a real thing, and it's actually very delicious. Leeds did... Hello there, Frankie. How you doing, Sean Moody? Good to see you, bro. I'm not sure how much you're going to get out of this. I mean, I don't think anyone ever gets anything out of these streams, but I'm going to do my usual talking to the chat about whatever comes up. But I'm going to be watching a football game, and I said it, a football game in the background. Leeds did a demolition job on Wolverhampton Warriors yesterday. Leeds. Shout out to you, Mark Hemingway. Yeah, the promoted teams are looking really good, which I'm really happy about. The last thing you want to see is a As a team that's been relegated twice myself, it's nice to see teams come up and do a job. And I feel like one of those teams are going to get relegated, but it's looking very, very likely that two of them won't. And I hope it happens. Leeds are a massive club. I don't hate Sunderland because I never really lived there. It's nice having another, quote unquote rival or a local team to enjoy playing against. Newcastle sucks. I mean, we used to. Sports is just a bunch of broke people watching millionaires playing a kids game. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I said on my last stream that I kind of echo what you're saying. I, for example, think that football shirts should only come in maximum a medium because I don't think fat cunts should be allowed to wear sporting jerseys and represent their team. And I stand by that. Not being a glory hunter fan shows character. Mate, I've certainly developed some character over the years, being verbally and mentally abused for decades. Pretty much all my friends are Arsenal fans, and I hate them with an unbridled passion. My brother's a Liverpool fan, and now, of course, we are now. What's the word they use for when family members? I hate the cunt, basically. Um, Modern gladiators for broke people, exactly, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have the physical acumen to go out there and do it myself, so I watch it and jerk off like a normal person. It's just bread and circus, distracting you from the world collapsing around you. The thing is, Q-Tip, I 100% agree with you, but we only get one life. Why should I want to spend my entire time crying about it burning down? Bring on the distractions. I am very much the cipher of the Matrix. I want my steak. I want my big breasted, well busted women. And I don't care what's going on around or outside of that. Fuck it. Newcastle was good enough when Faustino Asprey played in the 90s. We were actually a little bit on the decline at that point. We'd lost Les Ferdinand. That was kind of the beginning of the end for us, but we had some great nights. And that's the great thing about being a Newcastle fan. We don't worry about winning cups. No, 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 no. Winning a game gets our dicks hard. If the expectations are low when we do something great, it feels that much more amazing. Khabib O'Connor, how you doing, workout team? In the past, I would have answered Connor all day long, but now he's an embarrassing mess of a man who is an embarrassment to the Irish community. So I reluctantly would have to say Khabib. Who's your favorite pro baller in the Premier League? Wow, that is a really good question. It's Tonali. I know that sounds like a bit of a I know that sounds like a little bit of a biased answer. I genuinely think he's our only world-class player, and I think he's gonna do an Isak next season. I can see it coming. He got banned for betting. He's done his 2 years of his prison sentence, and now he's gonna be released from jail at the end of this season. But I'd have to say Tonali. I think he's the most underrated player in the league, and probably too big for this club. If you aren't from Newcastle, then where's your accent from? I grew up in London. Southwest London, bro. Bro, a young buck like you should be with Tony Robinson protesting against the migrant. I'm not a young buck, Q-Tip. I'm 40 years young. And I don't give a shit about anyone but myself. That's how I feel about that. The thing is, yeah, I think the whole Tony Robinson's is a little bit overhyped. I think a lot of uneducated people seem to see it as this racist march against colored people that we don't want in our country, which couldn't be further from the truth. We just want people in this country that uphold British values, even though we don't know what the fuck they are. We just want somebody to complain about and hate. And we don't want people coming in here and fucking up our shit. What's up, handsome? How you doing, Manthan M? How you doing, beautiful? Good to see you here, sir. Game's going to kick off in about 8 minutes. As I said, I'm very, very, very apprehensive about that one. I'm hoping for a draw. We'll see how it goes. You got a big booger hanging out. I put it there deliberately. I'm an everyman. Mine all-time favorite is Neymar. Just want to ask if you think Neymar joined any Premier League team instead of Saudi, which team should he have gone to? I would have liked to have seen him go to somewhere like an Arsenal. Neymar for me was one of my favorite players when he was at Santos, and I was one of the ones who was always squawking about how good he'd be in Europe. Neymar is an exceptional talent. Um, you've got me thinking about dangling now. I can't focus. Um, I do think he underachieved to a certain extent, considering what an incredible talent he is. But he still had a very good, career. Single versus marriage, which is the best decision for men today? Single, 100%. Never get married. It is a bad idea. Marriage definitely still favors women, and in a world where women are pushing so hard for equality, I still find it completely puzzling that a woman can decide out of the blue to leave her husband. All right, he might not be the perfect man in the world, most perfect man in the world, but she can leave her husband, take off with the kids, and then take all of his money. I despise everything about that. And I have some very strong views about how I think that should play out. But if they're going to take all of our shit, I was waiting for white male privilege. And when I finally got to the age where I could take advantage of it, in came woke, and I'm back at the bottom of the barrel. And that's just how I feel about it. But yeah, this isn't your run of the mill watch along. I'm barely going to speak about football, to be honest. Yep, Paul, LGBTQXYZ, what the fuck? 100%. And again, I've got nothing against gay people. I've got nothing against trans people. It's not really my flavor. I'll put it that way. But each to their own. Like your take, bro. Completely agree with you. Only if Neymar had better training ethics. I mean, the thing is, Neymar. Part of what makes Neymar great is he's a little bit of a maverick. You know, it's kind of what made him such a talented guy to begin with. Bro, I'm getting married in a few months. Don't do it. In fact, I'll take that back. Yeah, Manthan. One of the first pieces of dating advice I ever gave on this channel, because let's face it, I'm an expert. If you're gonna marry somebody, at least don't marry a broke bitch. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. Don't marry somebody who's broke. I mean, they're gonna be crazy. They're gonna be annoying. They're gonna change when you marry them. However, just don't marry somebody. Just don't get married to somebody broke. Marriage ruins one's sanity. 100%. I used to be an absolute chad, and now I'm a neutered little bitch, and it's painful. Woke equals broke equals joke. I mean, yeah, to some extent. I mean, it's ruining the very society we live in, and it is what it is. Dude, if you don't have kids, who will carry your legacy in G-Pool? Bro, I've got 3 kids. At least. 3 that I know of. And I'm proud of each of every one of them. My little son is a little Chad legend. So I agree with having kids. I just don't think you should get married. Unless she's not broke. And I'm sorry if that sounds controversial, but we're still out here getting fucked. Do you like Andrew Tate, or do you think he's put on a persona? I think he's himself dialed up to 11. There's a lot of things he said it over the years that I agree with. I wouldn't say I'm a big fan of his or anything. But he's certainly somebody who's nice to have around in an era where masculinity is being seen as toxic. I will say this though, he has done some really weird stuff over the years that I can get into if you want to. So you are happy? I'm a happy guy. I'm a happy guy. I've got a great job. I've got kids that I love. You know, life is part of life is sometimes making really stupid decisions, and I've made many of them. And I make mistakes every day, but it's part of the fun. Yeah, no, she's loaded. She's nice. Her dating history does bother me a little bit, but well, we'll see. We all have journeys. To be honest, man, when it comes to dating history, you've got to let that shit go. Because everything you like about that person, their history made it up to them as well. Do you know what I mean? I said that in a very retarded way. What I mean is the person that you are in love with or care about all their experiences made them the person they are today. And they're with you. And the thing is, this, as soon as you start getting insecure about it, she'll see you as a little bitch. And then that's when the relationship will start to fall apart. Let's go Magpies, 100%. I'll be real with you. Again, I said this at the start of the I said this at the very start of the stream. This is not a fixture I'm very confident about. Bournemouth are a very underrated team. And they are a bogey team for us. So I'm expecting a tough night at the office or tough day at the office. But it says a lot that I would take a draw out of this one. Like I said, it's an experimental team. It's a formation we seem to be fucking with for some reason. Let's see how it goes. What do you do to stay fit and stay in shape? I don't eat shit constantly. I do a lot of like weight working out, which you probably can tell from my enormous physique. But what I do quite often as well is I do a lot of water fasting every now and then, which allows me to shred down to a nice tidy weight while eating whatever the fuck I want generally. Just don't be a fat cunt, is what I'm saying. Take time to have some walks and enjoy life. Hello from Southern California. How you doing, Victory? Nice to see you, bro. Welcome to the most degenerate, boring, pointless stream you'll ever encounter in your entire life. Welcome. This woke liberal could roll any Andrew Tate follower. You're all twats. Say how you feel, Rusty. I am neither a liberal nor I'm just a strong, cool, heterosexual man who doesn't give a fuck what people think of him. Russia is in touch. How you doing, Nastia? Welcome back. I've seen you around here quite a bit. Lovely to see you here. How you doing, Marco? Nice to see you. I'm just kind of watching. This isn't really a football watch-along stream. It's going to be me interacting with you guys and kind of watching this in the background. My expectations are not very high. I'm just going to enjoy the game and enjoy talking some bullshit. Hella cool guy. Base takes subbed. Cheers, mate, but I got to push. See ya. Nice to see you, Manfin. Good luck on the marriage. I hope it goes well for you. The fact that she's loaded means that you're at least off to a good start. Shout out to you, sir. Thanks for stopping by. 99% of people I know would throw this kid around. I'm 40 years old, and to be honest, mate, that's what police are for. So that insult means nothing to me. Suck my dick. A cricket player, a socket player, and a rugby player walk into a bar. Who pulls the hottest chick? Who pulls two fatties for a threesome, and who goes home to fap? I would say the soccer player goes home to fap. Those guys are pretty soy. They use too much hair gel, and they're way too metrosexual to pull any real woman. Cricket players will have the gift of the gab, and rugby players are built like brick shit houses and are usually quite tall, and women tend to go for that kind of thing. I am a banana. Nice to see you holding Dad's sock. How you doing, brother? You're our banana. Are English people in general hostile to other communities? I heard that they are indifferent, though. Want to know your take on this Reddit opinion I saw recently. We're not. I would say we're a very multicultural place. I think what Britain has become is we're not racist against like races, and it's more just like it's more of a culture clash than an ethnic or belief clash. And I think right now we're living in a kind of situation where the country's more expensive than it's ever been, it's more divided than it's ever been, it's more confused than it's ever been, and we just need something to hate. Something to unify us. Are you pro or anti-abortion? It's a good question, Q-Tip. I would say the one thing that bothers me about abortion in general is how the say is entirely taken out of the man's hands. I'm not an appreciator of that. I'm very mixed on the situation. I do think that women should have an element of choice to it, especially in situations where a baby is conceived, let's say, against a woman's hands. I think that should be a situation where abortion should be allowed. But I think if you're going to smash a dude without a condom, you should be prepared for whatever those consequences are. How come you're a Toon supporter? I'm a little bit of a contrarian, to be honest. I was surrounded by Arsenal fans, Man United fans, Liverpool fans, and I wanted to be a little bit different. And it kind of just happened in a case where I was watching them one day. I think I was about 9 years old, and the team had no regard for defending whatsoever. They just wanted to attack. And that is something that I think of as an ethos in my everyday life. Go on the attack. I really hate this green kit. Let me move my mouse around because I keep picking up the wrong mouse. Hang on a second, boys. There's plenty of degenerates here in the good old USA. Our leader is one of them. I mean, I love America. I love visiting there. I don't think I could ever live there because of the gun laws. I am a bit of a pussy after all. But it's a great nation that is a fun place to visit. As an Indian, I think the British bringing civilization. I thank the British for bringing civilization to our savage land. That's one way of looking at it. I've had a lot of Indian people come into the channel recently, and it's been a blessing, to be honest. It's nice hearing your takes and hearing how you feel about things. And it's nice getting a different perspective. Learn how to fucking queue up though, boys. Aston Villa fan, shout out to you, man. Tough start to the season for you, but Unai Emery is a very good manager, and I think he will turn it around. Getting Champions League might be tough this season, but I think he'll do. I think he'll turn it around. Listen to his pussy fart, Rusty. If you don't like being here, then fuck off, mate. And like and subscribe before you do. How I thought just being a soccer player would get the chicks in as of itself. Nah, soccer players are very different these days. Let's be real though. I mean, they are balling out of control, so that would that definitely helps. I mean, we're lying to ourselves if we think that isn't a factor. Take care, buddy. See you soon. Nice to see you, Victor. I mean, I am an Indian, and in what I saw online made me fall in love with England's beauty and aesthetics. I want to move there, but kind of scared. I do admire the sophisticated British. Annie, she will be very, very welcome here. There's a very, very large Indian community here, a massive Indian community here. And the thing is, yeah, as a people, we're not against people coming in. We just want to have the same. We want people to just respect what we are and to not come in and take the absolute piss. And I say this as somebody who travels very, very often. Whenever you go to somebody else's country, don't be a cunt. It's that simple. As a Portuguese, I feel insulted. We brought civilization long before the English. I mean, Marco has nailed it right there. The Portuguese wrote the book in going into other people's countries and forcing them to do exactly what they want. Shout out to the Portuguese for laying the groundwork. We love you for it. I'd like to point out, yeah, that I am actually Irish. How long have you been transitioning? It's impressive your lack of Adam's apple, facial hair, and feminine voice. Well, XF, you've kind of got me on that one. I am 40 years old, and I'm still waiting for that nut to drop, and I still can't grow a beard, so you're 100% right. But guess what, yeah? I guarantee I get more pussy than you do. So choke on that. Kerry, he's brought this on himself. I 100% have. Do you read newspaper? What material do you read? I mostly read on. Funnily enough, I was reading a newspaper today because I went to visit the old dear, and she likes a newspaper. I mostly read most of my material online now. Pretty much. See, like this dude, I want to be a moderator, but at the same time, I want to hear you shred him to pieces. I'm kind of unbeatable in that regard because I'm very self-deprecating. I don't care. I'm not somebody who's arrogant or like I think I'm the shit. So there's no really fucking with me, really. How you doing, JVD? Tragic, mate. 100%. I did a Champions League watch along during the week and had a nice little turnout. It just kind of galloped away at a nice speed. So usually my live streams feel like a long, painful slog. But being able to watch the game in the background and just shoot some shit, it went by very, very quickly. And I enjoyed doing it. So I was like, why not give it a go on a Sunday morning? I don't really have the stamina to do it tonight. So I thought, fuck it. Doesn't matter if people turn up or not. Just enjoy myself. And I've barely watched the game, which is probably a good thing. Two things piss me off in here in NAM. The lack of cues and the complete disregard to look both ways before turning a motorized vehicle. It's kind of a rough with the smooth thing. I mean, being in Asian countries in particular, I'm a very big fan of having of having motorized vehicles around. I think it's a better I think it's kind of a better way of traveling around, especially like in London, you can't get around because of the traffic here is just a nightmare. It takes like an hour to travel 6 miles in this shitty city sometimes, and it does piss me off. But that's why I moved out of London. Are you a bottom? No, I'm not gay, sir. I bet you wish I was though. I bet you're jerking off right now. Enjoy yourself and like and subscribe while you're doing so. JVD, this is a bad time to pronounce being a Chelsea fan because you did get battered by one of the worst teams in the country yesterday. So hold that shit. How can a man get a decent woman in today's age? What tips do you have for a young man? I would honestly say Q-tip. The best advice I can give is to, first of all, always be yourself. Because if you want a woman to stick around and not give you shit constantly, she's got to accept you for what you are from the very beginning. If you try to pretend to be something that you're not, first of all, she's going to be suddenly disappointed when those standards slip. But also, she's then going to spend the rest of your relationship trying to fix you into what she wants you to be. And most women are going to do that anyway. But that would be the number one tip for me. Just like be yourself. And also, if you notice that a woman is trying to change you, just get the fuck out of there. And also, don't be afraid to leave her because there's plenty of fish in the sea. And as soon as you become the reacher in a relationship, you're fucked. Oh, Bournemouth are looking good right now. All right. I mean, there is the old adage of treat her mean, treat her keen. I personally don't adhere to that. I just more if I think somebody's being a cunt, I'll say you're being a cunt, and I don't mind calling people out for what they're doing. And that tends to be just how I live my life. I don't take any shit from anyone, and you have to be very content with being by yourself as well. Don't at any moment think you need another person to fulfill yourself. First of all, just be content with being by yourself and being alone, because if you aren't, then you'll never be able to function within a relationship. And that's my honest advice. Never depend on anyone. And just get with somebody that vibes with you and who you are, accepts you for what you are. And don't get with somebody that's broke. And don't get with somebody that's a nagging liar who will lie to you to get settled into your nest, and then basically stop you from hanging out with all of your friends. And I'm going on a little bit of a ramble here. I probably need to make a top 10 list, but those would be the basics. Just like I said, be yourself. Don't get with a woman who's clearly trying to nitpick at you and change you, and don't get with somebody that's broke. And like I said, man, lay down those markers very early on in the relationship. If you're somebody that wants kids, say you want kids. If you're somebody who couldn't stand the sight of a little rugrat, be honest about that from the beginning, and don't waver from your fucking views and your feelings, because they will use it against you. Number one rule when choosing a wife, she is open-minded towards anal. I'm gonna be real, man. I'm not a big anal dude. Like I've done it twice in my life, and it just stinks, mate. And yes, I've had women that have cleaned their areas out in the proper way. It's a stink hole for a reason, and pussy is fantastic. But what you do want is a woman that's willing to do it, because that's a damn. You need a damn freak like that. You need somebody who's at least going to be open-minded to the idea. You want it to be an option when times are hard and things are getting a little bit boring. You want to know that you've got it as an option. 8 years now I've been single, raising my son. It's been epic. I couldn't agree any more with you. I mean, the thing is, yeah, we live in a modern era now where men can do this kind of stuff. And men have proven they can be very good single fathers. Forces you to step up. And I 100%, I would rather be single than be in a relationship with a woman or raising children with somebody that agrees with me at every fundamental level. Because it's not great for, and that's another piece of advice, Q-tip. Get with somebody who has the same fundamental views as you do. Because if you eventually, if the condom eventually bursts, and it always does, mistakes get made. And you end up having a rugrat with the woman. The last thing you want is somebody who's fundamentally opposed to everything you believe in raising children. Because it's a nightmare. An absolute living nightmare. Oh! No. Alright, we're starting to get a little bit of a foothold in the game. Brilliant. I really do hate this green kit though. I think green kit should be banned. I don't think you should have a shirt that's the same color as the surface that you're playing on. That's just my feeling on it. And it's not a very eye-catching kit either. Anyway, it's been a fairly good start to the game. We haven't conceded an early goal, which we often do against these fuckers. As I said, I've been very honest in my opening. We are not a team that's very good away from home, and we're especially bad in this fixture. So I would take a draw all day long. If we nick a win, all the better. I mean, Howe's got to break his duck against this team eventually. Green kit is shy. I totally agree. 100%, mate. And the thing is that we've got a perfectly reasonably good blue kit. I don't know why we didn't go with that. I hope we don't see this kit too often this season. It's the green and white as well. It looks like a Sunday League kit. I'm not a big fan of it. But I'll be singing a different tune if we win it. Like, for example, I did buy this kit last season. I haven't worn it. I haven't worn it once outside. I would not be seen dead in it. So that says it all. I don't know what possessed me to buy it. To be honest here, I'm not too fan of this. I'm not too much of a big fan of this home shirt as well. Like the fuzzy lines. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with that one. Are you a gamer? I can't wait for GTA 6 coming out on May 26th. Well, Q-tip. Let me just step to the side right here. Am I a gamer, you ask? Hopefully that answers your question. And yeah, I'm looking forward to GTA 6 as well. I bought like a super powered PC just to be ready for this situation because I'm not really much of a console gamer. And let's just say I'm well prepared for that game coming out. I very rarely take time in my life as a father and as an actual working professional to spend time playing games. But there will be sick days getting cashed in for when GTA 6 comes out, 100%. I will be spending at least 3 days in my underwear. Like any real man should. Now, bear in mind, yeah, I'm probably going to be a little bit behind. So, because it happened to me during the Champions League stream where people were telling me like 5 minutes before we'd scored. There it is. Flag goes up. Yes. Please tell me this is. You never trust it with VAR these days, but hopefully that is a. Why are all the cases red? They're Switch games. Yeah, I've got Dreamcast down at the bottom. You see the Dreamcast gun up there? I've got 2 of those bitches. I sometimes crack out House of the Dead, which is anyone who knows gaming, man. House of the Dead was unbelievable. I'm amazed yet that they don't still release shooting games anymore. I mean, you got motion controls and all that kind of shit. Gun games used to be fucking unbelievable. Is it confirmed offside? I'm concerned now. Let's have a look. Yep. Offside. My favorite game is Cyberpunk 2077. The thing about Cyberpunk 2077 that bothers me, it is a good game. Somebody once described it as wide as an ocean, but shallow as a puddle. And I kind of have to agree with that. What I don't like about the game is it's obviously a very massive world, but there's not an awful lot you can do in it. Like if you think about games like GTA that came out 10, 12, 13 years ago, there are so many things you can do within that world. And I don't think Cyberpunk has that same depth to it. It's obviously a beautiful world to traverse. It's a visually beautiful game. The story is absolutely fine. And I did play it when it first came out on a pretty good PC, so I didn't really have the same issues that a lot of people had. But I don't know, man. I feel like there's a lot more they could do with it. I feel like I've heard on good I've heard on good authority that it's developed into a much better game now. But when you've got a game that came out 15 years ago that does way more than it, I don't know. I don't hate the fact it's your favorite game though, because I played like 70 hours of it even when it was shit. So it clearly has something to it. House of the Dead, I remember that in 2004. Yeah, man. It's obviously not as good at home. I used to run that shit when it was in the arcade, but I don't know why they don't make games like that anymore. It's crazy. Bonnie Blue is my cousin and I'm gutted. Did you hit? Did you hit it? I guess it depends where you're from. Bonnie Blue is very mannish looking to me. She is not an attractive female. But I guess it doesn't matter, does it? Most of us still would. Apart from having sex, I don't like women. I prefer the company of boys and men. They are more fun to hang out with. Well, I mean, that's the dream, man. I've said this multiple times. I wish that I was a fan of penis, but I'm not. I wish I was a fan of penis and bum, but it's just I can't get with it. Because men kind of the thing is about men, yeah, they kind of understand that alone time is required. Whereas women seem to want to be around you at every minute of every day. I don't like being around myself that much. That's why I sleep. But women seem to want to be around us all the time. Probably because they're worried about what we're going to do as soon as their back's turned. And they're right. If you played it at the beginning, you should try it again now. It's quite different now. I've actually, because I bought like a new PC over the summer, and it's the first game that I put on because I bought one of those RTX 5090s. I bought an entirely new setup. This is what it looks like over here. There's the bitch right there. And to be honest, Cyberpunk is one of the only games that you can really flex on it. So I have been slowly playing it again, and I have to say the improvements are very evident. And for now, with having a PC that's this souped up, um, it's kind of the only go-to game you can really go to that really takes advantage of having spent 2,500 quid on a fucking graphics card. If it wasn't so gay to be gay, I'd be gay. There's way gayer things to do in this world than fuck a man in the ass. I'll put it that way. Can I buy your used shoes or used socks, please? I'll pay any price. I need them for science. You don't want my used socks, bro. Not that there's anything wrong with them. I don't know why I said it like that. And I buy very high quality shoes. I don't really care about anything that goes on in the top half, as you can tell by what I'm wearing right now. But thanks for asking. Is it mine specifically that you're after, or is it just a general thing that you're doing? I understand the world is overpopulated and some aren't fit to be parents, but I couldn't imagine being the end of my bloodline by choice. Yeah, Mr. C, I 100% agree with you. I mean, I've had numerous relationships that have gone badly, and it's entirely their fault, of course. I mean, look at me. Um, I'm clearly a treat to be around. But having children is the best decision I ever made. I don't want to get all sentimental, but I love my kids, and I wouldn't mind having one more. I'm open to that. But yeah, I would implore anyone to have children, but it is a big commitment, and you do have to be fully involved. If you're not somebody who understands that a great deal of your time has to be sacrificed and to enjoy that part of it, then don't have kids because it's the most selfish thing you can do. At least do the world a favor and pull out if you're not a condom person. I am a straight man, but when I'm with my boys, I'm the happiest. We talk shit, play games, etc. There's nothing wrong with that. Males understand males. Females are pretty much a completely different species. They are. Like, and the thing is, even if you find like a based woman who thinks like a man, there's sacrifices that come with that. Because it's nice to be around women sometimes that have feminine ways of seeing the world. Because it does help us to improve as men, to understand their sensibilities and to understand how they see things. With the right woman, you can definitely grow as a person. You just have to have a woman who's willing to play ball and to understand that you are a fucking mind reader. That would be the first thing that would be useful. I've just lost my stream for a second. Forgive the lapse here. I'm just gonna try and find another perfectly legal stream. No. Perfectly legal. Don't get on my ass. Nope. This is the thing with these streams. You get exactly what you pay for. Oh, Aston Villa are playing on the main event. What the hell is that about? All right, I'm going to find another one right now. Whenever this tends to happen to me, I tend to tune in and a goal has been scored, so I'm kind of half expecting that now. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with that Q-tip. Nothing wrong at all. I have a Portuguese service. It's cheaper than here in the UK, and you get free PM games. To be honest, yeah, I'm more than happy to pay for and I do pay for sports services. I'm one of those people. However, the problem is that you can't legally pay for stuff here in the UK, and as you said, get all the free PM games because the free PM blackout still exists, which I think is ridiculous. I don't know why the hell that's still a thing. But you're kind of forced into a situation now, whereas if you're somebody who watches football, you have to buy streaming services. You have to illegal streaming services. You simply have to, or you won't get. And I'm somebody who likes to watch a lot of football. I don't just watch my team. I watch pretty much everyone. So the only way you're really going to be able to do that is by paying for these. And the thing is, they're cheap enough. They're worth right now, it's not working very well, but most of the time it tends to do a pretty good job, and I can't complain. Hmm. All right, I'm gonna have to get a little bit creative here. Why are they showing Sunderland and Aston? Oh, Sunderland and Aston Villa's on now as well. What I hate is that stupid TV license. Yeah, the TV license is a joke, and I'll be honest here, I pay mine as well. And I don't watch any terrestrial TV whatsoever. But occasionally I might stick something on BBC iPlayer, and I'm not somebody who I would say is like a stickler for the rules, but if I'm gonna get done for something, it kind of has to be worthwhile to me. Unfortunately, I'm kind of in a financial position where these kind of things don't really affect my life too much. I can kind of, fucking hell, why is there like 20 versions of the Sunderland game on? Hopefully there hasn't been a goal in the meantime. Bloody hell. Yeah, this stream seems to have tanked, so I'm gonna have to find an alternate UK. All right, let's give this a go. And we're back. There we are. Sorry about that, boys. That was quite the lag. If you're really 40 but you don't look older than 25, how do you look so young? It's simple, really, mate. I don't really abuse alcohol too much. I don't really. You know how you see a lot of white people on TV? They lay around in the sun and get burnt to a crisp. I don't do that either, and I drink a lot of water. I don't eat too much shit. So I say it's and I moisturize. So those are the things that kind of work for me. I think sun is obviously necessary for your skin, but if you sit in it all day like a complete plonker, and for some reason white people seem to love to get a tan, I don't really understand it. Unfortunately, Can You Daily, I don't have a link for the match. I fully endorse what you're trying to do. I would say check out meth or crack streams. So if you type in meth streams into Google or crack streams, you'll find a nice little stream that will sort you out. They tend to be the most reliable. I've recently gotten through Othello, Romeo and Juliet, and Hamlet, and I loved each of them, but I'm having a hard time sinking my teeth into Macbeth. Have you got a favorite Shakespearean play? Um, I would probably go with Othello. I always kind of resonated with that story, and I've always enjoyed Iago as a character, the dirty, racist little prick. It was one of the first Shakespearean plays that it was the first Shakespearean play I saw live. Um, I thought The Tempest was kind of alright as well. It's if it's done well, it can be something really enjoyable to watch. It's a very confusing story though. And I mean, Shakespeare can be very convoluted and challenging at the best of times. But when you start throwing sorcery and all that kind of shit into it, with what is a very difficult language to sometimes digest, then I'd probably go with Othello if I had to choose. But I'd imagine most people would disagree with me. I'd say if you probably did a poll of everyone who's watched Shakespearean plays, they'd probably go with Hamlet as their number one choice. But I'm a big advocate for the theatre. I'm not doing much to dispel the are you a bottom questions, am I? But it is what it is. I do enjoy going to the theatre. I do like pretty much everything gay under the sun apart from fucking or getting fucked in the ass or sucking dick. And I'm proud of it. Couldn't give a shit. Well, we haven't managed to achieve much so far. I do think there's been a goal in this game. Like I said, Bournemouth are a team we just seem to really struggle with. So I'm quite realistic about the chances of my team. Shakespeare had to write stuff in that form. He didn't want to lose his head. I mean, Shakespeare is timeless for a reason. I mean, it's I actually got done building a Shakespeare unit this I was planning a Shakespeare unit a couple of days ago for what we're going to be doing next semester, and the focus is on Romeo and Juliet, which is one of my least favorite plays. I love big women. Shout out to you, Jim H. I'll be honest, man. I'm not a huge fan of big women because I'm not a huge man myself. I'm only 5'7". However, um, there's 28 minutes 54 seconds on the clock. I need to find a way of getting like a clock timer in the corner that doesn't look completely naff. But shout out to you, Jim H. Jim H. We need people like you around to be the wingman, to be the guy to take the fat friend away from the designated area. You are a hero, sir, and you should be treated as such. So shout out to the Jim H's of the world and anyone who's down for a little chubby chasing. Maximum respect to you and your brethren. So we're now about 30 minutes in. It's been a fairly quiet game so far. I don't think anyone's really had too much of a major chance. We've had two. I'd say it's been pretty even on the chances, and Bournemouth are dominating the ball a little bit. But you kind of expect that. I've got maximum respect for clubs like Bournemouth that have really tiny grounds, but still manage to have relative success in a league which is very dominated by the elite clubs. So I always want to see clubs like Bournemouth do well. Not today, obviously, but in general, yeah. So when the Bournemouths of the world are playing the Arsenals, the Man Uniteds, the Chelseas, I hope they fuck them up, fuck them right up the arse. And I will always feel that way. Thank you. You are a sexy beast and deserves to be worshipped like the Greek god that you are. Jim H, I was just thinking the same thing myself. I am not really the pasty, meth-looking, skinny, crackhead white boy that appears before you. I'm actually a Greek god inside myself anyway. That sounded wrong. I take that back. But shout out to you, Jim H. Jim H, what neck of the woods are you from, sir? Happy to have you here. I'm assuming you're a based Brit yourself. You certainly sound like one. The one thing I always love about these live streams is when they hit a peak, we get people from all over the world. We had Brazilians in here, we've had Ukrainians, Russians, we've had a lot of Indian people coming in, which I'm always grateful for. Um, it's just a nice mixed bag we've got going on. And what we find is that men from all over the world are pretty much the same. We just want to enjoy our sport, enjoy our beers, and be left the fuck alone. You're not a Greek god, mate. You're a skinny little white kid. I just got done saying that, Jaden. Stop trying to ruin my afternoon because it's impossible. I've been on this planet for 40 years, mate. I know exactly where I am. But despite what you think about me as a person, I do pretty well. I do pretty well for myself. Oh, you're an Australian. G'day, mate. Australians are some of the best, most fun people to hang around with in the world. Um, I've mentioned this on stream a few times. I used to work in Qatar and I had a lot of Australian co-workers there, and those motherfuckers know how to party. Australian men and South African men, top draw. Got nothing but good things to say about you guys. So shout out to you. And shout out to the show Mr. In Between. I now no longer say toilet. I now say dunny because of that show. I live in Taiwan. I left the US 20 years ago and never looked back. Taiwan is amazing. I used to live in China. I lived there for 7 years. Now obviously Taiwan isn't China, but it has a lot of it obviously has a great base of Chinese people there that broke away as part of the KMT when the Communist Party took over. A very small country, pretty much a city, an island city, but a great country nonetheless. Have you ever been to Australia? I haven't. I'm scared of all the animals, but it is on my list. I wouldn't say that I've got a phobia of spiders and snakes because the spiders and snakes that we have here are little pussies that can't do anything to you. Australians have animals in their country that are borderline fucking aliens, let's be honest. Things that look like they don't belong on this earth. And that's why you're so based. Taiwan is China. It's the Chinese Republic. It's not really considered China anymore. I know that China's very much China is going to make a play for Taiwan sooner or later because Chinese people never let anything go. They're going to sew up Hong Kong first, and then they're going to make their move on Taiwan. And Taiwan is a very nicely strategically placed part of the world. But Taiwan is pretty much made up entirely of Chinese people. I mean, they are Chinese people. And it became a little bit of a sanctuary for people who were part of the KMT. Mate, the animals are the least of our worries. So what would you consider the biggest problem then? I mean, I've heard that in cities like Melbourne and Sydney that the animals aren't as crazy as they are in the outback, which I guess would be understandable. And I guess there's never a dull day. Austria is so nice. Austria is a beautiful country as well. Beautiful country. Last time I went there was maybe about 15 years ago. Had a really good time. Women there are based as fuck as well. I like Austria. Woke white women. Are there a lot of woke white women in Australia? I'm not attracted to. I got a lot of shit for this on stream the other day. I said that I'm not attracted to white women, and I got called a racist. Imagine that. For saying that I have a preference for yellow vagina, I got absolutely torn apart and called a bigot. McDonald's or gym? Man, do you know what? Yeah, I do like a McDonald's every now and then, but I mean, if I had to choose and there were no consequences for either, McDonald's, mate. It's very funny actually. The gym that I used to go to when I was growing up had a McDonald's on top of it. I mean, if that's not an evil play, I don't know what is. And it was always fully packed. Nothing like grinding your ass off for an hour and a half and then undoing it in about 5 seconds. Taiwan is more of a country than China. Democracy, universal healthcare, and their own beer. Couldn't agree with you more. The thing is, though, I grew up in China. No, I didn't grow up in China. I spent 7 years there. The mother of my kids is Chinese. And China, for the better part, isn't what you think it is. You can pretty much live a normal life there. I will say though, when COVID hit, you got a real sense of what China's really like. The way they locked us down, the way they controlled where we were going, all of it. Um, you realized how much under the thumb you are when you're in that country. So there is that side of it. But I found it to be a really nice place to live. Crime was relatively low compared to obviously being in the UK where you can't go out and do anything without somebody sticking a knife in your face. Um, and everything's very, very convenient there. You know, if you're in a field in the middle of the night and you need a battery, some Chinese fucker will run out there and bring it to you. And I appreciate that kind of industry, you know? Macca's and the gym. I mean, and the funny thing is yeah, the Mackie D's came after the gym. So that was a deliberate cunty move on their part. And I have maximum respect to them for doing so. Well, so far this game is going exactly how I want. I will take a 0-0 all day long. I would bite your hand off for a 0-0. Whether or not we manage to hold this for the entire 90 is anyone's guess, but so far so good for the tune. Away the lads. Bournemouth are no mugs. Siraj, where exactly are you from in your part of the world? Which city? I don't mean which country. Where are you residing now, sir? And welcome to the stream. Always happy to have you here. It's a nice quiet one because it's early on a Sunday, and you know what? I kind of like that. I had like 50 people in here the other day, and I got a little bit of stage fright. I'm not gonna lie. Jax is superior to Mackie. Well, everything's superior to Mackie D's on a base level, mate. That's not really much of a claim. I do fuck with McDonald's though. The one thing I appreciate about McDonald's is the speed in which it turns up at your house. Because I don't I haven't been into a McDonald's in years. But, you know, if you're dying and it's 11 o'clock at night, I've got a 24-hour McDonald's around the corner from me. Quick on the old Uber Eats, and I'm stuffing my fat face in 10 minutes flat. Newcastle looks stinky. We are not a good away team. And I think that's what our approach has been this season. I think Eddie Howe's just like, fuck it, we'll play 5-3-2 and prioritize getting the draws because we lost a lot of games away from home. Volta Messi. Nice try, lad. We are not a very good away team. We are a team that very much is based on the success that we have at home. So anything that we can get away, especially against good teams like Bournemouth, I would take as a good result. We just need to get points. I think that's what we're trying to eliminate this season. We're trying to maximize as much as we can at home and just make sure that we're not losing all the time away. I think Isak derailed Newcastle's season before it even started. I'll tell you something, Steelangen. Isak was going to leave eventually. He was always going to leave. And after March, after we won the cup, his performances fell off a fucking roof. And there were a lot of rumors going around that he didn't want us to make the Champions League because he felt it would make him harder to sell. And I don't think that's completely true, but his performances would make you believe that. At the end of the day, we got 2 strikers out of him. We got rid of a guy that didn't want to be there anymore. And like I said, he was always going to leave. And the fact that he went to Liverpool and took up the number 9 shirt immediately just showed what an absolute cunt he actually is. I don't want anyone at my club that doesn't want to be here. I think what it did, though, that was really good for us, Steve, is I think we actually had a very underrated transfer window, and people looked at our transfer window as a failure because of the fact that the Isak saga was going on so long. But I actually think it helped us get some sly business done, and I actually think we've got a much better squad now than we did last season. DoorDash is crazy food. Yeah, I don't think we use DoorDash here. Yeah, free Palestine. Let's go. How you doing, Majid? Nice to see you here. I'm not sure what 70 to 150 means, but you say whatever you want, sir. Whatever makes you happy. All right, we're starting to get our foot on the ball a little bit more. The thing I like about Eddie Howe is he does learn from his mistakes, and I like the fact that, like I said, we're giving more of the boys a run out. It's nice to see Thiao and the team. It's nice to see Lewis Smiley in there. Give Bruno a little bit of a rest. We've made the mistake of overusing the same 11 to 14 guys, and it's cost us in the past, especially when we've got Europe. So I like to see that we're using our squad more, giving guys their chance. I would have liked to have really seen Aaron Ramsdale start today, though. I think that was a bit of an error. You've got to give the guy game time eventually because he is only on loan, and I do think he's got a better chance of being our long-term number one than Pope does, who is woeful with the ball at his feet, but a very good shot stopper. What a turn! Yeah, we're starting to play a little bit. Well done, boys. I really love this Voltamada guy. I think outside supporters are going to criticize him a lot because I don't think he's going to be very prolific for us. I can see him getting 10 to 12 goals a season. But the stuff he does around that, I think is going to be very useful to us. Bringing other people into play, being a good hold-up guy. And I think he's going to get quite a lot of assists this season as well. We just need to get Wissa in a black and white shirt as soon as possible. God, Tonali is such a baller. Manchester United won 2-1 against Chelsea. I don't know how they do it. It doesn't matter how shit Man United are at any given time. They always manage to beat Chelsea somehow. And I fucking hate Chelsea. I used to really hate Man United as a kid because they used to win everything and just shatter all of my dreams. However, now that they're a banter club, I don't really mind them. They don't bother me in the slightest. I kind of enjoy just watching them fail. Eddie Howe's a brilliant manager, got Newcastle their first cup in 70 years, and what he did at Bournemouth was unbelievable. Bringing them up 3 divisions in 3 seasons is unreal. I hope he never leaves. I would literally be willing to go through a relegation scrap and keep Howe around and get rid of him. I love the fact that we've got longevity. He's somebody who very much I just saw the gooning comment. I don't goon Harry. I was framed. But nice to see you back. Yeah, Majid, that's exactly what we've got to avoid doing. He's a completely different player from what Isak is, and I think if we can make up the goals that because Isak, made up 40% of our goals. I think if we can get Wissa in the team, who's a very good goal scorer, and we have Voltamada, who's more of a link-up play option, I think we can make up for the fact that Isak's not there. And Isak did he was very good in terms of his injuries last season, but it always felt like a ticking time bomb ready to go off. And with a guy like Isak, you can't have him as your number one choice when you're playing 2 games a week. It's just the guy's made out of fucking cheese string. Rivalries are real. Even if a team is not as good as one year, they'll still play the rivalry really close. Happens every year. And it's funny as well that you mentioned that, Andrew, because it's weird how things in sport can be. It's like it doesn't matter how good a team are or how bad a team's doing. Some teams are just they have a weird way of being a bogey team, and Bournemouth is one of these teams for us. We just struggle to beat these fuckers. Newcastle isn't as special as you think. Average team at best. I strongly disagree with you. I think we're punching above our weight for what we've got. I mean, for me, we've only got truly one world-class player in our team, and that's Tonali. I think we've got one of the best midfielders in the league. I think we always put in good defensive performances. We're very hard to break down. We're very well organized. I think what we're lacking right now is a talismanic number 9 that's going to get 20, 25 goals a season for us. But I think that having the combination of Walter and when we get Wissa fit and firing, I think it will make up for it. So I think there's a lot to look forward to. We've got a manager who isn't too stubborn. Are you related to James Corden? Get out. Get the fuck. I hate that cunt so much. What about me gives you James Corden vibe? Do you know what? Don't answer that. I don't think I could take it. I support Sunderland, but I still want Newcastle to win the cup and would rather a Northeast team win. I feel exactly the same way, Steve Larson. I actually, because I didn't grow up in the area of Newcastle, I don't have that domestic hatred that they do. I want Northeast teams to do well. I want there to be that special occasion of having a local derby. In the same way that I'm watching Middlesbrough at the top of the championship right now, and I hope they come up too. I don't want to be traveling 400 miles every weekend. I want those special days that feel like there's more to it than just the 3 points. So I personally hope Sunderland do very well. Do I want them to win the league? No. But I don't want anyone else to win the league apart from Newcastle, which is never gonna happen in my lifetime. So, I hope Sunderland go on to do very well. And I'm glad you've made a good start to the season. How are you doing over in, are you still drawing with Villa, by the way? I certainly would want you to beat Villa. I've got no ill will against Sunderland at all. Trap game. I think one of our best signings is our new keeper. He is unreal. Oh, he's in my fantasy team, mate. He's an absolute worldie, that guy. I picked him up for a nice 2 million. You look inbred. Um, you should see what's underneath here, mate. All 14 of my toes on one foot. I do imagine my background is very. I think my, I mean, I was born in Ireland. I've got like a purely. I'm actually Irish, Whitler. So you might want to take that back. Nobody hates the Irish. But you're right. I do have a very British faggy voice because I was dragged here against my will. It wasn't my decision or my fault. So I'm sorry that my English voice offends you so very much. What does looking inbred even mean, by the way, these days? Even worse. Wagwan, how you doing? How you doing, Bodak? But nice to see you here, Whitler. That doesn't sound like a suspiciously strange pseudonym at all. Nice to see you, Bodak. How you doing? Congratulations on another win yesterday. I hate your club, and I hate you because of it. No, still 0-0. We down to 10 men. Fucking hell. If Aston Villa don't manage to pull that off in those circumstances, there might be some questions to be asked about Unai Emery. I don't think there ever will be, or certainly not in the near future, because he is a very, very good manager, and I think Villa would be stupid to get rid of him. But the questions will start getting asked. Who got sent off for Sunderland? How do you pronounce your keeper's name, by the way? You'll never walk alone. I hate your club. I hate your club so very much. I genuinely do. I wish you nothing but pain and failure. And like I said, well, I was not raised as a Liverpool fan, but I was originally a Liverpool fan. Frankie, stop holding Bodak's costume hostage. I'll have you know, sir, yeah, my ability to pick up women has gone up 9% since I got that costume. I might wear it out on Halloween. Don't worry, man. I'll take care of the dry cleaning bill. In all truthfulness, it's been sitting in my closet since I got it. I've been taking very good care of it. And even though I haven't used it or taken it out, I will be dry cleaning it before Bodak comes to collect it. Shout out to Bodak, by the way. What a fucking legend he is. The Irish couldn't even survive a potato. 100%. Yep. But let's be honest here, potatoes are amazing. So I don't feel any shame about it. It wasn't that we couldn't survive. We had our potatoes taken from us. And that's why I'm here as a spy right now. The beef is not over. Irish people are shanty subhumans, and the British should have never gave you bombing terrorists your freedom. That's a bit harsh, mate. It's a bit harsh. By the way, while you're talking all this shit, yeah, where are you from, Whitler? Or are you too scared to tell us? And to be honest about it, that costume is a pussy magnet, 100%. Imagine the stains on that costume. Bodak, don't let him get in your head, yeah? And those kind of stains definitely come out. At least to the eye. What do you think I'm doing? Like fucking the Bodak head? That's a sentence I never thought I'd say out loud. All right, so we've had 43% possession. We've had 4 shots, 1 on target. It's been a fairly even game. They've had more of the ball. Poland. Do you know what? Yeah, I'm not even going to go at you, bro. I like Poland. I like Poland. Your women are fucking amazing. And the Irish built New York. I'm not even going to shit on Poland. Poland and Irish people are very similar. I don't know what your hating's all about. Are you actually in Poland now, or are you in England, you scummy little cunt? And be honest with yourself. If you're gonna tell me you're Polish and you're not in Poland right now, fuck you, sir. But if you're in Poland, shout out to you. And I do love what a based nation you are. The prophet Jeremiah was buried in Ireland. Is that a fact? We do a lot of bullshitting in Ireland, but it's all for fun. The Irish were slaves, that's why they built it. I don't know where you're getting your facts from, sir, but that is highly inaccurate. We did it for very little wages. That's true. But slaves get paid nothing, and we were just exploited. Not it's not like we were, walking around in chains. I make money, then go back to Poland. So you're not in Poland. That's what I thought. That's what I thought, cunt. But to be fair, I mean, I know you're shitting on my nation right now and absolutely trashing me. However, that is the way to do it. I did the same thing. I left here, made that oil money, and then came back, and now I'm living like a king. So fair play to you. Poland is a really nice country. Actually, very friendly people, based, and some of the best drinkers I've ever encountered. Oh, it's barely offside. We got away with one there for sure. But I will take it. I want a draw. I don't care how that sounds. I'm turning my camera off a minute so I can shoot meth. What do I smoke? I vape occasionally, but I'm not very proud of it. I gave up cigarettes like 10 years ago, and it was the best decision I ever made. Good morning, brother. I just followed you on Instagram. Nice one, Ricky. I'm gonna be honest with you though. I never use Instagram. I don't even know why I have it. Do I want a dwarf? Can you elaborate on that statement? Do I want one as a pet? I don't really understand the question. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, my PC's got. Oh, there it is. It's back again. Yeah, the Celts, man. The thing is, yeah, I'm very proud being Irish. It's a nice, but they're a bit too libtard for my taste these days. So I don't really pertain to Irish politics. I think they've kind of gone off the boil a little bit, but it's still a great, proud nation. I'm relatively proud to be from there, as you can probably tell by the fact that I don't shut up about it when you guys come on here. Earlier, you said it. You want a dwarf? No, no. I'm just retarded, mate. I don't speak English very well, so that's all it is. Did I say that out loud? Fucking hell! A personal dwarf? Yeah, I'd go for that. I'd love to have a little dwarf knocking about. Why not? Wasn't that a thing in the 18th century about keeping dwarfs? Why did they ever stop that? Sounds like a brilliant idea. I think that should be they should be on the pet list. Hopefully, there's no dwarfs to get offended in the chat right now. Your country is getting taken over. I don't care, Whitlaw. I don't care. I won't be here long enough to care. Like I said, as soon as my son becomes of age and is ready to take over the kingdom, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Your only hope is McGregor becoming president. He already pulled out. Although his pull-out game generally is not very good. Bro, this is football live. Well, it's halftime now in the Newcastle game. I'm not obviously showing the game because that's illegal and I don't do anything illegal. 1 second. Oh, what was I saying? But if you go onto Google and you type in crack streams or meth streams, you will find a nice, perfectly legal stream of the game. Where are you moving? I'm going to go to Asia, I reckon. I'll probably go to Thailand or the Philippines or somewhere like that. Get a nice bar on the beach. And you can fill in the blanks yourself. I want to go where the beers are cheap and the women are friendly. I do not like white bitches. Alert, background audio is flagged as copyrighted content. I'm not monetized, you fucking jackweed. So suck my actual ballsack. I haven't said the words jackweed, I think ever. But you deserve that specially. That's especially for you. And like I said, sir, I'm not monetized. I don't make money from this, and I never will. I'm just here for the bants. No, I meant the conversation is going wild. Mate, it always does. It's part of the brand on here. If you go through any live stream of mine, it literally goes from one extreme to the other. I try to come on here and talk about football or talk about MMA, and it never stays on topic. It never does, and I'm proud of that. I literally go where the chat takes me. I heard China is better now. China's amazing. I lived there for 7 years. I loved living there. If COVID didn't strike, I'd still be there now. When I retire, I will move back to Australia and live in the outback. That sounds like a beautiful life. I've got loads of Australian friends. One of my closest YouTube compatriots, Dougie, is and check him out. If you Marco, if you're somebody who's into MMA and into Australian shit in general, subscribe to a guy called Dougie's Corner. He's absolutely incredible. Always good value on his live streams, and I'm pretty sure you get on with him. But that sounds like a great plan. He often does like live streams out in the outback, and they're always entertaining as hell. And I've got to admit, it does look like a very appealing lifestyle. I'm just not built for those crazy animals you've got. I personally don't think you could hack it. Who was Lou? Got no idea, mate. And no idea who that Donny is. All right, so we're half time at the moment. Things are going relatively to plan. If you think it's a bitch move to turn up in somebody's backyard and go for a draw, I respect you for it, but that's clearly what we're doing today. I think we're probably hoping that we can nick something late on. What's the reason you're leaving the West? The ideology's changed. It's way too expensive to live here. And everything. I mean, you've got animals that look like they don't belong. You've got animals that you won't find on any other country in the world. I mean, look at the wombat, for example. That's a crazy looking motherfucker. Dingoes. But I'm more referring to the crazy snakes and spiders that you've got. I mean, you've got spiders that are the size of your head and can jump across a room. I don't know about you, man, but I'm not. Come to UAE. Again, I also lived in the Middle East for a couple of years. I was in Qatar, spent a lot of time traveling around the area. Abu Dhabi is a really nice place to visit. I'm not too keen on Dubai, to be honest. I think it's become a little bit too generic. Oman was a lovely place to visit, and I love Bahrain is one of the most underrated places in the world. So I wouldn't mind going back there. You can make a fuckload of money there. There's no tax. Your accommodation gets paid for. I implore anybody who's a graduate, who's just recently graduated from tertiary education. So if you're in the US or you're in Europe in general, as soon as you get that degree, take yourself off to the Middle East. Those are just the pets. All right, so Marco, what should I be wary of out there? I mean, again, I don't mean to sound like a massive pussy, but what's for pork chop? How you doing, bro? I actually haven't had breakfast this morning, and it's nearly 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But it allows me to come on here and ramble more incoherently than normal. You know, the dehydration. All I've had is a cup of coffee today, and that's it. Although I am starting to feel a little bit peckish. Saltwater crocs. Yeah, I've heard that crocs are the ones to look out for. Especially as there's no fucks given with them. They're pretty much the closest thing we have to dinosaurs, right? I've heard that they have no compunction about rolling up in your house. And they are not to be fucked with. You see, with most of those creatures that dwell in the water, you're kind of safe enough as long as you stay the fuck out of the water. But they're just as dangerous on land. They're quick. they're powerful, and they don't give a shit. What about your family? Well, most of my kids are older now. I've got a 21-year-old daughter. I've got a daughter who's just turned 17, who's going to university next year, and my son is 5. But I don't imagine I'm gonna stick around here for too long. I'll take him with me. I don't wanna be moving to retirement age when I'm just, when I'm too old to enjoy it. Like, I did retire briefly for a couple of years and then got bored and went back into education. But I wanna be able to, and also you d no nothing's guaranteed, there's no guarantee that I'm gonna get to 50 and get to enjoy it. So I'm thinking, like, next couple of years, I'll probably do 2 or 3 more years, and then I'll be off. And there's plenty of good places you can go and educate your kids, still give them that tertiary education. Hey, I'm back. Good to see you, Luigi. How you doing, man? You were a very welcome addition on the last stream, and always happy to have you here, man. You always shoot straight. These are the kind of subscribers that I want. I don't want people who are gonna subscribe and then never come back because it doesn't really do much. Like I said, the whole sense here is just building a nice community. So like I said, we're at halftime. It's been a pretty uneventful game so far, and this is exactly how I want it. Will you take the Switch games to Asia? No, Westy, I won't, to be honest. If I leave, I'm probably just gonna sell a lot of them. They're basically a little nest egg for my son anyway. Frankie, introduce me to your oldest daughter. No way, Ricky. No fucking way. I wouldn't inflict her on you, to be honest. She is she was raised by me, so imagine how she turned out. You would not have a good time. Tropical, how you doing, bro? Nice to see you back. Yeah, so I'm not introducing you to my daughter, and it's because I like you. Don't take that the wrong way. It's not because I don't think you're good enough for my daughter. I mean, you probably aren't, but that's not the issue I have here. But no, Westy, I had to spend like a lot of money transferring them over in the first place, so I won't be doing that again. It was a painful process doing all that. I had to put them all in crates, and then there's always the danger that they're not going to turn up, and it's literally a few 100,000 worth of games that I've got, and it was a very nerve-wracking experience. I'm not even sure if all of them turned up, if I'm being real. So I will not be doing that again. But I've obviously got my house here, and I'm never going to sell it. So what I'll probably do when I move out is I'll board up this room and have security cameras all up in the bitch. And yeah, I'll just rent the place out. I'm never going to sell this place because I might show you guys later where I'm living. I live right in front of like a really nice big lake. And it's just really nice to wake up in the morning to. So I'd never really want to sell the place. And having land in England is always valuable. So the long answer to that question was no, I'm not going to do that. I'm also getting the loft converted as well. So that'll be really good for storage too. All right, so second half is almost underway. We're at 0-0. And I will be, as I've said from the very beginning of this stream, I'll be very happy to. Yeah, Ricky, I guess I could do that, but I'm obviously doing that in the knowledge that it will look like a Jackson Pollock painting by the time you're done. I mean, if I let you live in my house, there's no way I could run through this place with a black light ever again. I don't want to see your jizz like drooping off the chandelier, which is what I'd expect. Wow, I wonder what kind of person would buy that collection. You'd be very, very surprised, man. The gaming collectors market is very popular, especially now as we're moving to more of a digital age. In 10 years from now, physical gaming media won't exist anymore, and that's when it's really that's when I'm expecting it to really be to go up in value. The key to doing it really is to buy games that have very low prints. So I tend to collect games that have 5,000 physical copies or less, because they just do not go down in value because they're not out there. And I'm so yeah, I'm planning on like handing it all over to my son when he turns 20 and just letting him go buck wild of it. He'll probably If he's anything like me, he'll end up fucking blowing it all in the. He'll probably end up blowing it all on hookers and blow. But fair play to him. If that's what he wants to do with it, it's his life. Do you think the UFC should have a larger women's weight class, maybe 160 or 175? 100% they should. Purely for the entertainment value. I mean, it's going to be unskilled as fuck. But I think it would be amazing. It's the same reason why I want a plus 260-pound class as well. Same reason. And I've been saying this for a long time. I have been quite derogatory when it comes to women's MMA in general. But I'd love to see an atomweight division. We're stuck with them. We might as well get some skilled fuckers in there. I would never have done that, but since you mentioned it, I must live up to my legacy. I wouldn't expect anything less from you, sir. What I don't know won't kill me. And as long as I keep any kind of black lighting out of the situation, I'll be none the wiser. God, Walter Marder is so good with his feet, man. What a baller. This guy's going to do so well for us. You know I'm from Saudi, so I'm probably always going to support Newcastle. Bro, if that's a reason to have you on board, then I'll take it. A lot of people talk shit about the PAF and about the blood money and oil money and all that. They've been the best thing that's ever happened to us. And the way that they kind of embraced the club and got in with the fans, I've got nothing but respect for them. I do wish they'd, invest a little bit more and push the boundary a little bit more. But nothing but love for the Saudis, man. They've been sensational for us. Good kick, sir. Why do they only have string bean ladies? It's hard to get into watching people that barely weigh 100 pounds fight. The thing is, though, it's just kind of a known thing in MMA that smaller fighters tend to be more skilled. The bigger a fighter gets or the bigger a person gets, the slower they get, the worse their coordination gets. Atom weights are some of the best women's fighters in the world. I watch One Championship purely for the atom weights and because I love tiny women as well. I live in an RV, bro. That's what you need to do. My former boss quit the rat race and started living in an RV, and he has never been happier. Most of Saudi Arabia support Newcastle. Shout out to you, Joe Henry III. Saudi Arabia is an up-and-coming nation as well. If you do things right, you are going to be a powerhouse in the next 10, 15 years. I visited Saudi Arabia. Lovely part of the world. Hot as fucking balls, though. Forgive my potty mouth. Like the first season, the Prince bought Newcastle, I thought your team was going to get a huge overhaul. To be fair, we have. I mean, you've got to understand here, being a Newcastle fan has not been a proud experience for the 2 decades prior to when you guys bought the club. We had a good spell during the 90s when we we punched way above our weight and spent money that we didn't have, but it ultimately led to our downfall. And then we were bought by a greedy, fat, cockney arsehole who pretty much ruined the club from top to bottom. So having you guys in charge has been nothing but a blessing. And even though things probably haven't progressed as quickly as we thought they would, a lot of it isn't their fault. PSR has obviously been a big problem. And I like the fact that we're playing by the rules and that we're building in the right way. So shout out to the PIF. I would argue that watching college women wrestlers or heavier judokas are more skilled than the 110-pound karates. That's fair enough. I'm not saying that they're unskilled, but I wouldn't mind seeing a few roly-poly women getting in there and doing their thing. I mean, why not give it a try? I just don't think there's a lot of plus 145-pound women out there. It would be more like a freak show. I mean, they struggled to have. I mean, you remember when they had the 145-pound division? They pretty much had 6 women in it. So I don't know if there's a big market for it unless you get those overly buff bodybuilder type freak shows, which again, I would very much like to see. I would enjoy the hell out of that. I'm from Jeddah and it's so fucking hot, but after a while you get used to it. I mean, I remember when I moved to Qatar, I turned up there at 4 o'clock in the morning and it was 50 degrees. And I remember stepping out of the airport and literally thinking I'd stepped into a fucking oven, mate. It was unbelievable. But you do get used to it. And the funny thing is about countries like that is because it's so hot, you pretty much live in air conditioning because everywhere indoors is air conditioned. You struggle a little bit when going in between cars and shit, but Gabby Garcia versus Sean O'Malley would beat her. Either, I mean, he wouldn't if it was a stand-up fight only, I don't know. Because just because of the pure size of him and how skinny he is. I think he would strangle the shit out of her though. What am I saying? Of course he'd piece her up and knock her out. But she's a she's not really a woman. She doesn't count. That doesn't count as a woman, sir. Even when it's hot, we just chill with red. I remember the lifestyle out there. It was amazing. Now I'm talking about Qatar specifically, but I imagine Saudi Arabia has its similarities as well. My sister lived there for 2 years, and she absolutely loved it. She talks about it quite a lot. Is this a penalty for? He yanks the shit out of his shirt. Yeah, Gabby doesn't count. Gabby's definitely got a bigger dick than 90% of the chat in here right now. Oh, he's through. Oh, we've got it. There was a night when the degree at night I remember was 50 degrees. It was the same for me. It was literally, I think it was like 47 degrees when I turned up to Qatar at 4 o'clock in the morning. It was mad. I live in South Africa. South Africa is I've never been there, but I know a lot of South African people. Funnily enough, while I was living in Qatar, most of the staff that I worked with were South African guys, and we used to bry it up every weekend. Those guys are based as fuck, and they are the biggest dick slingers I've ever seen. So shout out to South Africa. It's mostly for 2030 projects and the tree project. Are they still doing that mile long city? Is that still in production, or have they let that go? Because it sounded like a very novel idea. It was like that mile long strip, right? It looked very modern and interesting, and I would have liked to have seen how it could have worked out. Let's be so the fact that you're a Saudi, yeah, you're balling out of control, right? How many? Quick question, Joe Henry. How many chandeliers do you have in your house? And be honest. And how many acres is your house? And I don't mean your land. I mean your house. Saudi Arabians are fucking balling out of control. Next level balling. I live in Wisconsin. I've never been to Wisconsin. Next time I go to America, these are the places I want to visit. I'm done with like the New Yorks, the Washingtons, the Bostons, the Las Vegases, the Californias, the bait places. I want to go to the Midwest and see some real America. That's what I want to see. That's what I'm down for. Sunderland is still holding on against Aston Villa. Well done to them. Anglo-Saxons can't defeat the Celtics. Hell no, bro. We were the real savages. We were the flayers. We made flaying fucking famous, mate. It's not enough just to beat a man's ass. You got to cut the balls off as well. Go to the Headless Valley. I'm definitely going to go back to I don't know where the Headless Valley is, but I know for sure that if the opportunity presents itself, I will get my ass back to the Middle East because I had an amazing time there. I have a 3-story house, but our entire family lives there. I assumed you did. And how many chandeliers do you have? Don't be shy about telling the world. You guys are unbelievable. Or the Smokies. I sound geographically ignorant right now, but I'll stick it on the list. And I probably got 5, 6 chandeliers. The fact that you don't know just shows how fucking balling you are. That could be 5, could be 6. Anyone who's like, even new rich, they know how many fucking chandeliers they've got. But my G Joe Henry III doesn't even know for sure. That's when you know you're balling out of control. I've had the most fun around Saudi Arabians as well. When I went to when I was in Vietnam the last time, I bumped into a group of Saudi Arabians, and they were getting down with the get down. They were getting all the women, and maximum respect to them for that. But just chill dudes as well. I recognize it's obviously very strict within Saudi Arabia, but you can go outside and have, and enjoy yourselves. And I don't mean commit haram after haram, but just, let your hair down a little bit. Good people, Saudi Arabians. Sick tackle. Get up. Get up. I've got a few mini chandeliers in my house, but they're not the real deal. I imagine like you've got. There are like in Qatar, there were multiple chandelier stores. That's how boring that country is. If you want a chandelier in this country, you've got to kind of special order it. You can go to a chandelier store in countries like that and browse like a boss. We are now 56 minutes into the game. We're starting to get a little bit more of the ball now. Fair play to the lads. I would be made up if we somehow got a win in this game. I would. Oh man, that would make my week. But I don't want to get greedy. I would take a draw. I think the last time we played them at their ground, they absolutely stamped us out 4-1. And it could have been more. Well played. I'm hoping Sunderland can hold on to that draw as well. I want Aston Villa to be stuck in as much misery as possible before they eventually get their act together. And I want Sunderland to stay up this season. Oh, my monitor's gone off again. Do you know, I think the lighting looks quite good. Oh, no, damn. Ruined it. Come on, lads. Let's put our foot on the gas now. Oh. This green kit really does make me feel sick. Nice cross in. Oh. Well done, Tiao. I like the look of this kid. It's nice to see us get our foot on the ball for a little bit of time. I'm kind of contemplating whether I should come back online again tonight, but I don't think I've ever done 2 live streams in one day. So that would be a first. We'll see how it goes. But shout out to you, Fortify, and shout out to the country of South Africa. And shout out to, like I said, the Indians have been coming in their droves and, bringing good conversation to the table. You usually want to talk about women as well, which is right up my alley. While the chat's gone a little bit quiet, I'm just going to turn the camera off for a moment. Oh, don't bring Harvey Barnes on, you shit. Actually, having said that, I don't really mind bringing him on as a sub. That's what he should be. These football live streams are going to be the way to go for me, I reckon. I've been here for an hour and 40 minutes, but I feel like I've only done 20. I assume they're going to be hooking Voltamada off. He looks like he's run out of steam, to be fair to him. He's had a good game, though. We need to try and take advantage while we've got the ascendancy here. Try and get a few chances. Rattle them a little bit. At least ask the question, boys. Come on, Lewis. Come on, Lewis. Oh, watch out behind you. Who's calling for the man? Pope, just kick it. Oh. No, he's good. Last thing we need is a sending off. Nice. Who is that? Joe Willock. I didn't even realize he'd started. Oh no, they're doing a VAR check. Oh, no, I think we're good. Let's have a look at this Tiao challenge. Yeah, he nudged him off. That's definitely not a fucking foul. Get out of here, man. All right, so we're at 61 minutes now. Very pleased with the performance so far. Be nice if we could go and nick one now. We need to get this monkey off our backs. Okay, Joe Willock's off. I quite like that. No Voltamata, please. This might be a good game to give him the 90 and see how he does. I've also got a three-story house as well, by the way, Joe Henry, but I'm sure it's not as extravagant as yours. I imagine yours is like 3 stories, but also really wide as well. You've got like multiple rooms on it. I've got like 3 or 4 rooms on each floor, and they're not all bedrooms, obviously. And it's obviously nice to have your family with you as well. All right, are Sunderland still holding on? They are. This is going to be a very bad look for Aston Villa if they don't pull this off. A very bad look. And we've still got the Arsenal and Man City game to come after this. So this is what I love about sport in general. We can just vegetate out, watch the games, and just enjoy ourselves. All right, they're bringing Justin Cliver on. He tends to give us a lot of trouble. So I'm not too happy to see him come on. Come on, boys. Give me something to shout for here. Oh, Alanga's on as well. Not a bad decision. Inject a little bit of pace into the team. Alanga's been getting a lot of shit actually since he joined us, but I've actually seen glimpses that I really like, and he definitely gives us a different option. Come on, boys, let's see this one out. By the way, if you are still lurking around here, if you wouldn't mind hitting up a like on the stream, that would be really generous of you. I would appreciate it very much. It's really good to see Lewis Hall back. He's such a good defender. Such a good player in general, really. Someone making the comment earlier that Newcastle are overrated. I think that's very untrue. I think we've got such a good team now. I think our starting 11 on the day can take on almost anyone. It's just the squad depth we've had a problem with over the last few years, and I think it's much better now. The fact that we can have Wisa out and Jacob Ramsey out, and we're still ticking along really nicely. I'll take it. I think what I'll do is I think I'm going to shut off the stream now, have something to eat, and then I'll maybe contemplate coming back on this evening. I think I'll enjoy the rest of the game, get some food in, and yeah, think about coming back this evening. So anyone who's still lurking about, thanks so much for joining me this afternoon. It's been a fun one. Hopefully I'll see some of you tonight. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend wherever you are. And yeah, I'll catch you hopefully tonight. If not, I'll be back on either Monday or Tuesday. We'll see how I'm feeling. Have a great one, guys.